Chapter 11, Destined Fate. When Liu and Su Wan Ci arrived at the Liu family's old residence, it was already close to 11 a.m. Yuan Ruoshu, Liu's mother, had given the household staff the day off. It was her belief that having a crowd of servants around on their daughter-in-law's first visit would make her uncomfortable. Yuan Ruoshu had prepared the ingredients for lunch in advance and was waiting for them at the entrance of the hall. At the entrance of the old residence, Liu tossed the car keys to the butler waiting nearby and held Su Wan Ci's hand as they walked into the courtyard. The butler parked the car and didn't follow them into the hall. Instead, he headed straight for the servants' quarters behind the main building. The Liu family's old residence was a magnificent villa with an exquisite layout and fragrant flowers in the courtyard. Passing through an elegant corridor, they arrived at the hall. At the entrance of the hall, Liu's mother had a wide smile on her face and warmly greeted them. "You're finally here. Come in. Come in." Liu felt a bit surprised by the warmth from his mother's welcome. It wasn't often that she showed such a pleasant demeanor. As he was about to step onto the stairs to enter the hall, his mother ruthlessly elbowed him and pushed him to the back with enthusiasm. She grabbed her new daughter-in-law and led her into the hall. Liu was left standing there, looking at his empty palms. He raised his head and met his father's gaze. Liu Xiaoxiao, with a discerning look in his eyes, scanned Liu up and down. He remarked, "I thought that after getting married, your status in the family would surpass mine, Liu." Liu Xiaoxiao adjusted his cuffs and glanced at his son. "Now it seems that you're still at the bottom of this family. You've been anxious for a day or two, but now you can finally relax, Liu." With that said, disregarding Liu's frosty expression, Liu Xiaoxiao confidently entered the house. Liu, feeling helpless, rubbed his forehead. He once again questioned whether he was truly their biological son. In the hall, Yuan Ruoshu pulled Su Wan Ci to sit on the sofa. "Wan, you and Liu got married in haste. How has this young man been treating you? Are you comfortable at the Huiting Manor?" When Su Wan Ci heard the name Wan, her expression froze for a moment. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Liu stroll in, his hands in his pockets. He scanned his surroundings and settled on a single-seat sofa on Su Wan Ci's left. "It's been quite good, Auntie," Su Wan Ci replied. "I've been adjusting well to everything." Yuan Ruoshu patted her hand. "That's good, but now that you and Liu are married, shouldn't you change how you address me?" Su Wan Ci instinctively glanced at Liu, her gaze meeting his deep ink-black eyes. A faint smile tugged at the corners of his lips as he locked eyes with her. Su Wan Ci quickly averted her gaze, her lips parting as she addressed Yuan Ruoshu. "Mom," Yuan Ruoshu exclaimed, and then produced a prepared gift. Inside the velvet-lined box was a fine jade bracelet. Holding the bracelet, Yuan Ruoshu took Su Wan Ci's hand and attempted to put it on her wrist. "Mom, I can't accept this," Su Wan Ci promptly declined. She and Liu's marriage might not last for more than a few days, so there was no need to complicate matters further. Otherwise, it would only lead to more complications if they divorced. Yuan Ruoshu remained resolute. Disregarding Su Wan Ci's objections, she placed the bracelet on her wrist. "Wan, this was the gift my mother-in-law gave me when we first met. Today, I'm passing it on to you. It's not anything extravagant, just a small token of my affection," she added, "of course. This bracelet is quite old and can be considered an antique. It might not align with a young girl's taste. If you don't like it, we can go shopping for a new one another day." At this point, if Su Wan Ci pushed back any further, it would be disrespectful to Yuan Ruoshu's intentions. Looking at the translucent and warm-feeling jade bracelet on her wrist, she curved her lips and said, "No need, Mom. I really like it." Seeing her accept the gift, Yuan Ruoshu finally felt relieved. This bracelet had been passed down through generations in the Liu family and was a symbol of the family's approval of their daughter-in-law. It also signified that the woman receiving the bracelet would become the next mistress of the Liu family. Liu mother's gift was a family heirloom. Liu father's gift, on the other hand, was much more direct. He simply pushed a stack of property deeds towards Su Wan Ci. Wan, your dad doesn't have much to offer, but he has money and real estate in abundance. That's it, he said, glancing at the silent Lu Yu. As for money, this young man here, Lu Yu, has plenty. Dad won't compete with him for that. These properties are for you. If you ever get tired of living at the Huiding Manor, you can move into one of these villas for a change of environment. Su Wan Ci were top-tier aristocratic families, always so generous. They were gifting her villas as a simple introduction, and not just one, but almost 20 of them. Su Wan Ci turned to Liu, her gaze full of surprise. If she hadn't sought him out for cover, these nearly 20 luxurious villas would have instantly propelled her to the pinnacle of her life. Seeing her astonished expression, Lu Yu's smile deepened, a trace of indulgence hidden in his eyes. Dad is just being generous. Wan, why don't you take them? Su Wan Ci's lip twitched a couple of times. She refocused her attention on the stack of property deeds. Thank you, Dad. With the exchange of gifts completed, Su Wan Ci turned to Lu Mother and asked, Mom, how did you know my nickname is Wan? That's a story from the past, Yuan Ruoshu said, holding Su Wan Ci's hand and her gaze turning distant. 23 years ago, one night, Lu Yu suddenly developed a high fever without any warning. Lu Xiaoxiao and I rushed him to the Hualin hospital. While I was with Lu Yu as he received his fourth drip, I coincidentally met your mother, who had just come out of the operating room at that time. I really wanted a smart, caring daughter. When I saw the delicate and adorable baby girl in the nurse's arms, I felt my heart warm, and I followed them in the hospital room. Right after your mother named you Su Wan Ci, she immediately gave you the nickname Wan. Since you were born at night, she chose Wan, which has the same sound as the character Wan in your name. At that time, Yuan Ruoshu had an inexplicable fondness for Su Wan Ci. When she first saw the newborn in the hospital room, she even held little Wan herself. Looking at the peacefully sleeping baby in her arms and feeling her heart melt. Since Su Wan Ci's parents, Su father and Su mother, were temporary medical staff borrowed from the Hualin hospital at the time, they left Xiang City shortly afterward. Yuan Ruoshu had not seen Su Wan Ci again after that. It wasn't until 8 years ago, when Su father and Su mother tragically passed away while on duty, that the news of their deaths caused quite a stir in Hualin hospital and even throughout Xiang City. Seeing the familiar names in the reports, Yuan Ruoshu once again recalled the soft and fragile baby from years ago. Over these years, Yuan Ruoshu hadn't heard much about Su Wan Ci. She spent most of her time abroad, and even if there were occasional news about her in Xiang City, it mostly revolved around her relationship with Fu Jing Zhou. Whenever Yuan Ruoshu saw those reports, she genuinely felt a sense of regret. At the same time, she grew more disappointed with her only son. Such a wonderful young lady, and her son couldn't hold on to her. Now, in hindsight, she realized that the inexplicable fondness she felt when holding little Wan 23 years ago might have been a destined fate from the very beginning.